They capitalized on the whole Twilight craze. It is bad to be reliant on this stuff because it's constantly changing, but the good news is there's always something new, and they've always been able to quickly identify it and act on it. In 1996, when they had grown to 68 locations and 43 million in sales, they became a public company by selling 70% of it on the stock market. The IPO sold 1.3 million shares at $18 each, resulting in $24 million. And within the year, that stock price just about doubled. From there, they just started growing like crazy. 50 new locations in the next year, another 50 in the year after, and opening about 50 more every year until 2001, when they reached 346 of them. Two things worth mentioning that happened in 2001. For one, Orv Madden retired from the company after having served as CEO from the beginning 12 years earlier, and they started Torrid. This is a completely separate chain of stores that specializes in clothes for plus-size women. They noticed that the larger sizes were selling really well at Hot Topic stores and figured they could start a whole separate store dedicated to this. In multiple reports, they've identified Torrid's core competition as being discount department stores like Target and specialty stores like Lane Bryant. But for both of those, they target an older, more mature demographic. So in opening Torrid and targeting plus-sized females aged 15 through 29 who are primarily influenced by fashion trends and by pop culture, they're effectively serving an underserved market. Can I point out how similar this is to the start of Hot Topic? In both cases, they noticed a high-selling product at an existing store, looked deeper into it, and identified a severely underserved market and quickly acted on it. The company now consisted of two separate, rapidly growing chains. Here's their locations graph leading up to 2012. I want to point out that 2006 was the peak year for Hot Topic at 694 locations, and then 2012 was the peak year in this range for Torrid at 190, because part of their plan that year was to grow that chain and hold off on Hot Topic for a while. I have to think that a big reason they did this is the fact that Hot Topic wasn't doing too great. If you had invested $100 at the beginning of 2004, you would have lost most of it by that same time in 2009, which is far worse than the rest of the market. Obviously, when you look at the location chart, there was a big change right around 2005. It went from rapid growth to pretty stagnant. Looking at their revenue graph, it's very similar, which you would expect. Fewer stores means fewer sales. But then, when I take a look at their comparable store sales, essentially how much they sold in each store compared to the year before, it started looking bad right around the same time. And I think that's the more telling figure. Possible reasons behind it: CD sales were going down due to the internet and downloading, and obvious reasons. Malls becoming less popular, again, due to the internet. Hot Topic is known for being in malls, and when there's less people walking around them, it's just